Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. Thank you for joining. We're just letting people come in. Let me see. I think we're just a few minutes after 9 at Hong Kong time. I know there's some of you on Pacific time, so good evening to all of you. I know it's probably around dinner time. You're probably starving. I'm just having my coffee, so forgive me for that too. So I think this is an ad hoc workshop, so I thank all of you for joining today. I think we have gotten a lot of questions about what is the requirements for the Capstone Project for the APRU Esports Fellowship. What does it mean? What are the requirements? There's loads and loads of questions, and we just wanted to be sure to give everyone a chance to get their questions answered, give some guidelines about what the expectations are, and to kind of look at the framework that we've developed to help you develop your projects. So Carlos Rios, he's the recreational sports coordinator at Tec de Monterrey, will go ahead and take us through a presentation of the guidelines, the expectations, and some of the goals for the Capstone Project. And then we'll give each team, I know there's not that many of us here today, but maybe we could get those that are from the same university together so they could start discussing with their advisor some of the ideas that they have for their project and start developing what they would put together for their executive summary. And so next week, we are hoping to collect your executive summaries from each team which will describe kind of an overview, what your idea is and how you will accomplish your project. So why don't I just go ahead and take it away to Carlos. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jackie. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you again in this workshop. As Jackie said, we are going to talk about this Capstone project. What are the expected outcomes of this project, and what are the way that we are going to be working on. Next slide, please, Anya. Well, to make a recap, what is the Capstone project? Just to make sure that all of we understand what is the Capstone project. Each student group that we are present right here make a strategic growth plan to drive this esports industry, to get bigger, this esports industry, these esports clubs inside of each university, each of your respective university. Thank you. But how we are going to be working on this strategic plan? First of all, we need to make sure that we understand our strengths, our opportunities. All of we have unique strengths, unique opportunities, and how are we going to make our main goal of this Capstone project? Our biggest goal is to maximize the club's impact inside of each of our universities. Then, how are we going to get to this objective? With articulated priorities, goals, values, present actionable specific initiatives to make this Capstone project possible. We are going to make a year-long strategic growth plan with monthly goals and milestones. This is an important thing, that you keep year-long with monthly goals. I'm going to talk about later with more specifically, but it is important to have this in mind. And then these strategies will help the student leaders to create a shared vision to the future, to stay focused on driving initiatives forward, and also to make a larger collective impact. That is one of the main objectives. How are we going to present this Capstone project? Well, each team will present this Capstone in the final workshop in a PowerPoint presentation. Again, I am going to talk about later. The next one, please. Thank you. Okay, one of our biggest stakeholders of this Capstone project are the advisors. I am an advisor too from Tec de Monterrey. It is an important thing to draw a limit from this project. It is very important. The students have the ownership, are the owners of this project, and the advisors are only going to guide the students, are going to only to guide, to develop this process, to develop the proposed plan, maybe asking questions, maybe supporting, maybe advising on the implementation plan that the students will encourage. But it is important thing to delimit, to make the limit that the advisors are not going to make the project. The project is from the students, and the advisors are only here to guide the students. Okay, the next one, please. Thank you. So this is the main objective of the Capstone project, the main format, the deliverables of the Capstone project. Each capstone should include these 7 sections. I am going to talk about each one later. And what about the deliverable? Deliverable is a 10-minute video explaining the 7 sections of the capstone. As we said in the last slide, we're going to make a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, but this PowerPoint presentation will be presented on a 10-minute video explaining the 7 sections. But what about the 7 sections? The first one is the executive summary. Thank you. This executive summary should be a length, well, it is not should, is as you wish. It is free format. The format is totally free to you. This is only a guidance. But the recommendation length is 1 paragraph. If you want, you can make 1, 2, or 3 paragraph, but it is important thing to make the content. The key points of the project should be on this executive summary. What are these key points? The objective of your project, the university context, and also the conclusions and the recommendations that you have after make this capstone project. The executive summary should be clear, concise, and also summarize the project. Right here, we have 2 examples. On the left side, we have an executive summary 100% made from words. And in the right side, we have an executive summary made from words, from graphics, for images, some statistics. It's up to you. The format is totally free, but it should be important to make the content on this executive summary. Okay. Then another section, the market analysis. This market analysis, again, we should draw a limit. Only we are going to analyze the esports clubs across borders, but the emerging trends in universities and in the industry. It is really important to get closer this research. We're not going to research all of the esports industry because the esports industry is really big. So we are going to close up this research only to emerging trends in universities and also in the industry. Well, you should conduct an analysis on the university context. Every university are different, so it is important to make this analysis. How this analysis is compared with others. This is just a trigger questions. If you can match the information from these trigger questions, it's okay. If you don't want to follow these trigger questions, it is also okay. This is just a guidance, okay? How can best serve this analysis to your esports club members? How do you work with university's administration to achieve better results? It is important to have the analysis of the audience, of the university context, and also all of the stakeholders that we are going to affect in a positive way after this project. And how can these findings inform the ambitions of your club? Okay, next slide, please, Anya. Okay, what about the SWOT analysis? Okay, I think that all of we know how to do a SWOT analysis. This SWOT analysis, it is important to make this SWOT analysis of your esports club and also the university context. If you want, you can make 2 SWOT analysis, 2 different analyses, like one from the university context and another for the esports clubs, or you can make only 1 SWOT analysis, but including the esports club and the university context. It's important to make the difference. Well, the SWOT analysis have 2 factors, internal factors and external factors. The internal factors are the strengths and the weaknesses. What is an internal factor? The things that are inside of my control, things that I can affect. The external factor, the opportunities and the threats, are factors that I cannot affect, are outside of my control. Internal factor, inside of my control, external factors, outside of my control. And we should have very good specified what are our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and also our threats. Okay. Next slide, please. Thank you, Anya. Then, with mission and vision statements. The mission and vision statements are really, really important to every team, to every organization, to every project, because these mission and vision statements are going to give us a guidance, are going to help these statements are going to help us to make a really good decision, these statements are going to give us a guide decision making. Okay, we have on one side a mission statement. What is a mission statement? Well, the team's reasons for existence, the purpose of the team, the intent of the team. These mission statements respond to the questions, to the question, what do we do? On the other hand, we have the vision statement. That the vision statement is the team's desired or intended state in the future. So the mission is present, the vision is the future. The vision is about the aim of the team. The vision statement responds to the question, where are we going? Both of them should be in one sentence. Well, you can have one sentence or two sentences, but it should be really, really easy to understand, really, really clarify the idea, what are we doing and where are we going? Okay, next slide, please, Anya. Okay, so we're if we advance in a chronological way, we already identify what about external factors. We already did an analysis of the industry, also the strengths, the weaknesses that we have as an esports club. We already have a guidance of what are we doing and where are we going. So we are really we are ready to set our strategic goals. How are we going to set these strategic goals? First of all, with achievable and realistic goals. These goals should be SMART. What does it mean? Specific goals, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Minimum, we set a minimum of 3 objectives, maximum 5. Every goal, this is very, very important thing, every goal should have key initiatives. What are the key initiatives? The actions that will make us achieve this objective. I have put right here an example of a SMART objective, a really, really simple example. Obviously, you are not going to make this level of goals. But for example, my goal is to lose 5 kilograms in 2 months. This is a very, very specific goal. This is a measurable goal because 5 kilograms are 5 kilograms. Attainable or realistic, because I am not going to put my goal is to lose 20 kilograms in 1 month. It is close, really, really close to impossible, right? Relevant, because it is important to my health, and also the time bound, 2 months. So I have already set my goal to lose 5 kilograms in 2 months. The initiatives, well, I only have put right here 2 initiatives. Maybe I can make a lot of more initiatives, but it's just an example. Initiatives, diet and exercise 1 hour a day. So it is a really simple example, but I think that I make you to see what are the expected outcomes of these goals. Okay. Next slide, please. Thank you. This template could help you to draw the initiatives, the goals, the vision, and the statement. How can we read this template? At the top of our mind are the mission statement. The mission statement is our purpose. This is why it is at the top of this template. Then the vision, the expected future that we have for our team. Then the strategic goals, and how are we going to achieve these goals with the key initiatives. So at the base of this template, it says to us, how are we going to make or to achieve our vision and also our vision with initiatives and with goals. Okay. Next slide, please. Obviously, if you don't want to use this template, it is also okay. This is just a guidance. Then we'll reset our goals. How are we going to achieve this goal across the time? We have to make an implementation plan, a realistic work plan with dates, with tasks, with roles, with ownerships. Should be an attainable work plan. It is really important to define the responsibles, and all of the stakeholders that we have in each of the tasks. Again, for format, the format that is going to depend on the objectives that you set. Okay, next slide, please. I give you an example of an implementation plan. This is only, again, an example. This is a template. This project, it is divided on 4 phases. If you want to divide the project in phases, it is okay. If you want to divide the project in objectives, it is okay. If you are going to decide the things that you are going to divide on your project. On the top of this template, we have the time bound. We have the time that we are going to use depending on each task. Right here is in quarterly, but we are going, as we remember on the first slide, we are going to work monthly goals, monthly milestones. So I think, or I recommend, to have this time bound on monthly and on monthly set. Well, the time we're going to set on months. At last but not least, we are going to have the conclusions. We put you here a trigger questions. If you want to follow the trigger questions, it's okay, but you need to conclude your project. What are your learnings? What are the challenges? How will you overcome these challenges? How will you ensure success, etc.? Okay, it's up to you, but we need to conclude. We need to conclude our project, and this is the 7th section. This is the last section of the project. Okay, the next slide, please. The way that we are going, or wait, well, the evaluate criteria. Evaluate criteria. Well, we have 100 points. 70 of these 100 are going to be the judging panel, the presentation evaluation. The advisors are going to evaluate these presentations and are going to set a maximum score for 70 points. Then we're going to have the peer-to-peer online evaluation. Every member of every team are going to evaluate at the another member of the team. And then the final workshop feedback participation. This means that one team are going to evaluate another team. For example, Tec de Monterrey are going to evaluate from these 15 points the project of, I don't know, UBC, for example. Okay. And then these 70 points of the judging panel are made from accuracy, 20 points, feasibility, 30 points, clarity, and originality. This is the evaluate criteria that we will have from the 70 points from the judging panel. Okay. Next slide, please. And I think that it is the last slide. The key dates. I think that one of the most important slides of this workshop, the key dates. First of all, well, we are right here on June 18, for some of us, June 17, this Capstone project, this Capstone workshop. Then on June 24, we're going to present the project idea, or also the executive summary. This paragraph, or this up to 3 paragraph describing the project, describing this idea, is, I think that is one week from today. So we have 1 week to work on this project idea. Then on September 17, it is a due date from sections 1 to 4. What are sections 1 to 4? The executive summary, the market analysis, the SWOT analysis, and also the mission and vision. Then till October 28, we have the presentation pre-recording. This means that you have 1 month to work on the sections 5, 6, and 7. That was the key objectives goals, also the implementation plan, and also the conclusions. We're going to have 1 month, and on October 18 we need to have the final project really done, because the pre-recordings needs to be presented to the advisors, so the advisors will have 1 month to evaluate these pre-recordings, and then to finalize the capstone workshop, the final capstone workshop on November 12th, that we are going to receive feedback and evaluation of every of our advisors and every of our teams. This was a really quick presentation. If you have any doubt, any question, please put the question in chats on the chat. I am going to be answering these questions. And this is all for me. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Anya.
Thank you so much, Carlos. That was really great. I think can clear up a lot of the expectations from students. I just wanted to call out, did anyone have any questions that they wanted to raise, or if there wasn't something that was quite clear?
Sorry. Is there a more comprehensive rubric for like how we're gonna be marking our other groups, like our peers?
So it'll be based on those, Carlos, and please forgive me and correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that the rubric will be the same as the judging criteria that was presented in the presentation. So there will be a very detailed rubric that students will view, and you can see that later on. I think we can share that once the judging has begun, but it will be based on those 4 main points.
Correct. Totally agree.
Matthew?
I just wanted to make sure that I understood correctly. So the plan is to have our complete capstone project design completed by November, correct? And then evaluate the plan, and then we will be implementing that over the course of like the next year. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, only the design. Yeah,
Sorry.
tell me. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, as a follow-up to that, are we able to, like, if our implementation plan for whatever our capstone project is can begin being implemented before November, are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, if you want,
Definitely.
it's up to you. Yeah, for sure. It is your project. Okay, it is your project. You can make to your project anything that you want. So if you want to start before November, before October, if you want to start today, it's okay. Don't worry.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthew.
I want to say that maybe last year or so, we had discussed this with a lot of the other participating universities in the fellowship program. And I think the idea for this project really came out of the discussion that we wanted something that would really enrich all of the esports club. And so we wanted to give you guys a chance to do that. And while there is a judging criteria, it's really not about judging who's the best or who has the best project. It's really just to encourage your teams to work together and work with your advisors, and to really think through and use this opportunity to really benefit your club. So don't get caught up with like the judging or the criteria for assessment. Really, it's about participation, and I'm sure you guys will all do quite well. Is there anyone else?
Hi guys, quick question for you to give our students maybe a little direction. At our campus, which is probably pretty common, we have a strong RSO gaming community organizations, but now we actually have our official UW Esports teams. Would you prefer they focus on one or the other, or once again, Carlos, totally up to them? And us?
I mean, I would say it's completely up to your university. Totally. I think a lot of other universities don't even have an official esports team. So I think you have, it's great to have that choice.
Yeah, we have many different realities in this network, in this fellowship. So this project, you should to articulate the project in order to achieve your specific goals. So if you have a goal in the university to increase only the esports club, it's okay, or it's up to you. It is up to you, totally up to you.
So can I further clarify, actually, the difference between finishing the capstone in November as far as presenting it and implementation? Will there actually be emphasis put on grading the implementation portion of it as well, or is the grading and the judging strictly the November conversation?
This evaluation is only from the design. The implementation plan is another step. Right now,
So
we are not.
Okay, because yeah, the term implementation implies a certain level of Jason kind of alluded to it, but we're operating a combination of theoretical and hypothetical and learning for the students on this process, but there's frankly no guarantee that anything that we come up with will be implemented. And so I want to clarify that implementation is, I don't want to say optional, but it's not necessarily part of this conversation. I mean, it's not a requirement per se.
Yeah.
It is important. Sorry, Jackie, it is important to have an implementation plan, but yeah, it is really difficult to make 100% this implementation plan to make on the reality. So it is important to have one, but maybe the evaluation is only on the design, not on the implementation per se.
So I'm qualifying it. It's the implementation plan needs to be actionable and implement, and not to coin a phrase, it needs to be implementable, but it doesn't necessarily have to be implementable.
Exactly.
All right.
I mean, an idea can be quite good, but it's not the best unless it's really actionable, unless it's realistic, unless it can have, I mean, you can make a very big wish list and not be able to accomplish it. And that's not a very helpful plan.
That helps. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor.
And I think that that's a good point to emphasize for all of the people who will be judging.
Yeah.
Sean, did you have a question, please?
Yeah, so just to double check, so the only deliverables for this project is basically the presentation in November? There's no like final report with like appendices and a bibliography that we have to attach, or right? Sure.
Don't worry. Just a PowerPoint presentation, and also you're going to pre-record your team presenting that PowerPoint presentation.
So we'll have a final workshop where we'll all get together and to discuss the evaluation and discuss our projects, but we hope that everyone will have the chance to review all of the projects before that, so that we can really focus on the discussion and our sharing of our projects.
And Carlos, in your mind right now, do you have an expectation on the length of the presentation, meaning 10 slides, 25, 30, or up to the group?
The only expectation is the length of the video. The video should be around 10 minutes, maximum 10 minutes. So if you want to have 5 slides, but you set the goal from 10 minutes, it's okay. If you want to have 20 slides, but you set the goal to, or you achieve the goal to have 10 minutes video, it's okay. So the slides, it's in second second hand. The important thing is 10 minutes video.
Okay, great.
Okay, so do we have any other questions out there? All right, so we have a few teams that have a few members here. So we'll go ahead and put you guys into your teams, but those of you who only have just 1 or 2, you can go ahead and join me and Carlos in developing your ideas for your projects. And so what we'll do is, in your teams, if you could discuss and consult with your advisor about developing your capstone project ideas. We want you to kind of think about what are the challenges that you faced in 21 and how will you address these challenges or improve your esports communities at your universities. We want you to think about what are your successes and how will you build on those successes and use those to leverage or enhance your community for the upcoming year. And then think about your stakeholders and what do your stakeholders care about and what outcomes can you actually promise to your stakeholders. So we'll give you about less than 30 minutes. Anya, can you tell me how much time we have?
We will have like 30 minutes to discuss, and then 1 minute countdown, and then we'll come back to have the idea sharing. So the idea sharing session will be like each team will have like around 3 minutes to share their idea, and then we'll have like 1 to 2 minutes to receive like the feedback from other team.
And this will help you develop your 1 paragraph that you'll submit to us by next week. That will just share what your idea and your summary for your project will be. Okay. How did the conversations go? Did you have enough time? Good. Too much time? Too little time? Okay, why don't we just go ahead and go through the teams just to hear how your conversations went, and just raise any of what came through in your conversations, and maybe raise one idea or a few ideas that you have bubbling up. So why don't we go ahead and get started with NTU Singapore.
Hi. Yeah, so firstly, we discussed the challenges that we face in 2021. So with the COVID currently in progress, we face the challenge of no longer having any online sort of meetings, nor online sort of tournaments, offline tournaments, sorry. And all our meetings are online and all the tournaments are online, which cause a lot of chaos, especially for committee wise, because we realize that our committee members do not really bond as well as they do in the past, because there's no longer any more face-to-face meetings, and some of our committee members don't really know each other as well. So these are one big challenge that we face, and this is affecting the health of the committee itself. So we will definitely would like to tackle the challenges faced by this issue. And then regarding the success of our club, we were able to get the school to notice us, and our school was able to, we had a very healthy discussion with the school regarding the future of esports. So we sat down with the sports director of NTU to talk about what do he think that the sports sides of NTU can help to support esports in NTU, and we came to agreement on some issues which we never ever had before. So that was a success because the school is finally recognizing us and finally starting to move towards recognizing esports in the school itself. And lastly, regarding our project, I think the main topic that we would like to tackle is the evolution of our club from being an amateur club of a bunch of people hanging out into a more professional club where people are more specialized in their roles, and we start to understand the specialization required for an esports club. Yeah, that's about it for us.
That's great. I mean, what an accomplishment to get your team recognized. So congratulations on that. I know that it takes some effort and that your team has been working on that for a while. Did anyone have any questions for NTU or wanted to raise any discussion or feedback? Okay, then we'll go ahead and move on.
Add a couple of notes. I'm the advisor for the NTU team. Sean was very humble, but actually we've had quite a battle with the university for the university to even see this club as more than a very, very quiet club. And so now both Sean, his committee meeting, and myself and my co-advisor, Patrick Williams, we put the university under some pressure, and they met us halfway. They haven't fully acknowledged the computer gaming as an e-sport, but they're treating it like an e-sport, and they will provide support when events come, and they will treat us like a sport in certain events. At the same time, they've thrown down a challenge to the club to do well in these events and to run the club more professionally. They've provided some advice. So the university, they're quite conservative, but they're making an effort, which we really appreciate. And so there's a conversation happening. So we've gone from almost nothing to a conversation and cooperation, which is something, we're quite pleased with that. So I just wanted to add to what Sean had to say. Thanks.
No, thank you for that context. It's really helpful. NUS, did you want to go ahead and present some of the discussion that you had?
Hi, sure. Okay, I'm Ewan from NUS and I'm the recreational director. So during the breakout room session just now, we briefly talked about between us, we briefly went through, some of the challenges that we faced and some of the concerns that we've noticed, and we've kind of divided it into 3 sections. So because here at NUSEG we have 2 wings, so one is for the recreational members, and the other one would be the esports varsity sites for our athletes. So we went in and started from 3 perspectives. So one from the recreational end, one from the esports end, and one from within our exco, like within the management committee itself. And as for the recreational side, some of the things that we kind of noticed and came up during the discussion was that in terms of event attendance, in terms of outreach, and how do we ensure that we can get our members to actually come down and attend the events regularly, and ensure that there is a constant engagement going on between the members, and helping them to get to know each other and help them to make friends, because now everything is online, so it's very difficult to really truly understand each other without once the CC sessions, once these esports club sessions are over, so they just go back to their lives. So how do we engage them and get them to engage with each other? So that's one thing. And another thing would be to increase visibility within the school. So we've actually been talking to some of the members, and we've also noticed that some of them, they don't actually know that we are an existing club in the school. So that's something for us to work on within NUS itself. And in terms of event also, we're also going to be exploring more varieties, hopefully, because we've seen that maybe some members, they are only interested in a particular section, a particular segment. So it's something for us to think about as well. And on the esports and on the more competitive side, some of the things that we are going to be taking into consideration would be for the upcoming semester as well as the next year. Some of the things that we need to consider would be in terms of recruitment. So what is our standard? What is the barrier to entry? And in terms of attendance rate during the trainings, like what's our expectations for our varsity athletes, and in terms of their training, and also in terms of performances. Are we expecting podium finishes for maybe local competitions? Are we going to send them to regional competition, things like that? And another thing would be in terms of retention, like how do we make sure that our varsity athletes are keen in this in our varsity program, and how do we ensure that they will stay on with us during their entire university tenure? Yeah. Okay. Then the last section that we briefly spoke about was internal, like within our management committee. So we've also noticed that in terms of manpower, sometimes we are a little bit short when it comes to holding and organizing events. So maybe we can also look into how to better rotate the members across the different divisions, because we have 5 gaming divisions for each game. So we have 5 games under us. So how do we better rotate our in charge for different games to come together and better organize the events? Yeah, and other than that, we'll also be sticking to the school timeline and our own internal events timeline, such that we don't overrun or we don't delay anything on our end. And one more thing that we also have to consider moving forward as well, because NUS, they also have pretty strict regulations with regards to, say, for example, sponsorship. So how do we work around that, and how do we move forward with that and develop our club? Yeah, so basically that's about it.
Great, that's really holistic. I really appreciate the reflection and the conversation that you've had in your breakout group. First, I just want to open up to anyone. Did anyone want to add anything or had any questions or feedback for NUS? Matthew, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that in our UW discussion as well, and I feel like this is probably going to be a common thread for most of the university involved in APRU, but that engagement that you talked about and getting that interest is going to be a universal struggle for all of our esports programs, and something that we can all work on.
I was thinking the exact same thing. It seems we've all kind of had this similar challenge with COVID and engaging and building community. So something that we can all think about. I'll go ahead and call on UBC to go next.
Hello. Yeah, I can speak on behalf of UBC. But during our breakout group, we kind of took a little bit more of a forward-thinking approach in terms of how we wanted to contribute to the future generations of our club. And as leaders this year, how we can set them up during our term this year to ensure the success for the future generations of UBC. One idea that we deployed last year and wanted to continue to improve on this year was creating a structure that would help teach both hard and soft skills applicable to the esports industry through our workshops. And we wanted to be able to set up a structure where we can help engage with the future leaders of whoever occupies the UBC by putting them into or directing them towards a more linear path and introducing them to more opportunities, because as we know, the barrier of entry in esports is pretty high and it's pretty hard to get into. So we just wanted to be able to continue to gain more exposure for esports that way with alongside our efforts of the UBC administration team and just working together with them to gain more exposure in that sense. Was there anything else you wanted to add, Zach?
No, I think that, yeah, what we're hoping to accomplish, most importantly with this capstone project for UBC, is that we have things that are in place that we will be able to implement and serve as a guiding document sort of for the people to come following the inevitable graduation of people as they progress through university. We hope that as collegiate esports has sort of developed on its own, at least in North America, into a way for people to gain skills relevant to the industry of esports in general, as well as other business sort of as a whole. We think that having something formal with the guidance of the rest of the people involved in APRU will have something that is very reliable for future generations of UBC sports and APRU universities as well. So
yes, definitely, much agreed. And I also wanted to say that Tec de Monterrey has been very gracious in leading this fellowship program. And I just want to mention that they've also volunteered to lead in the next year and in the future, and then really establish this program so that we can continue our work together. So just hope that we can use that maybe as one of the resources that you can count on. And then also, it's really great that you're thinking about ways that you can contribute and build up this community. So that's really great. I'd like to call on Tec de Monterrey next. I know that Carlos has to get going right on time, so I don't want to miss you. So Tec de Monterrey.
Yeah, hi. Well, some things that we speak from the challenges we already have this year is the difficulty that we are 26 campus, and we have been working online because of the pandemic, but we will continue this way even after because we are in all the country. One example of this is that the 6 members of our team come from 4 different campuses, so we are working online in every moment. Also, we have some challenges that everyone in here have is the loss of the important coexistence and the face-to-face bonding that have in their teams or in their events. But not everything is bad. Something good that we've seen in this year that can help us is the opening of the university to start new projects of esports. One of that is the fellowship. Others are a program for streamers, some national tournaments. Also, in the team of the fellowship, we organize a tournament for the children of the workers in the university. That's some things that we have good benefits. Also, we can have better inter-campus relationships from working online. and some stakeholders and some people and organizations that we want to relate and we need to relate are someone's interns like the students, the esports department in our university, the university in general, but also we want to have a relation with externals, such the esports community, university esports community in all the country, since we are in all the country. And we also want to have a relation with the professional teams in Mexico.
Go ahead,
Thank you.
Carlos. Mhm.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jose,
Yeah.
Jose Alan, alias Pepe. Yeah, one of the main problems that we face on this environment of the esports right now in Tecnológico Monterrey is that well, as Pepe mentioned, we have 26 campus. We need to work. We need to make one effort to all the 26 campus on the country. The pandemic functioned to us because, as Pepe says, this way of work, this online work, is a work that we need to keep around the esports environment. So we are working right now on building this esports culture in our sports department, in the recreational sports, in the athletics department. Right now, esports is living around these two portfolios, these two departments, because esports is new. So we need to keep esports in both portfolios, because if we divide the efforts, so the efforts are not going to make good answers to us. So right now we are working on building the culture from the students to the to all the esports department. So this is one of our main like objectives that we have, to work on the 26 campuses with this fellowship. Actually, it is a good one, good one way to work on that objective. Also, in the athletics department, they have another students. We have another type of efforts. Not in this type. Not in the type of networking. On the type of the operations, 100%. So we're working on that. That was one of the biggest challenges that we have.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, Tec de Monterrey is so humongous as an institution, and with the 26 campuses and the COVID, I can imagine that even builds even more challenges as you're trying to build up your esports program within your recreations department and connecting it to even what's happening for students in academia. So this is a really good topic for you to choose.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. Yeah, we're starting to work on this esports environment, but we are really putting a lot of effort, a lot of resources on these esports, because we think that esports are really a really good way to get bigger the living on campuses. So it is a good way to start.
Thank you. Our last group is University of Washington. So please go ahead and take us away.
All right. So like I said earlier, I think almost all of our challenges this year were related to communication, engagement, and interest in our esports program, and trying to maintain growth with that. But as far as what went well is that despite being in a pandemic, we were able to keep our esports program sustained and keep that momentum even if we weren't growing. We also talked about our stakeholders, which were all over our community, including staff, our different RSOs and clubs, even people just in Seattle, in the city, who come and visit our esports area and use that. All of those people are involved as stakeholders. And from these 3 sections, we came up with a couple capstone ideas. And most of them were focused on our challenges, on ways to increase engagement, increase Twitch stream viewership, and the such. And one thing that might be good for the University of Washington is we were looking at developing a specific broadcast studio that we could be using. And if that is something that happens, we could definitely leverage that in our capstone project as a way to increase engagement for UW Esports.
Those are all really great ideas and super ambitious. I think that you can even tie those 3 ideas together into one project for your capstone and really think about how to tie them together in a way that makes sense for your club. Trevor or anyone else, Jason, did you have anything to add to Matthew's report?
I'll just briefly just kind of reiterate what we kind of a uniform idea I've heard throughout. It's really about maintaining community engagement and keeping momentum. I mean, my experience in the last 5 years with esports, what makes it so unique. We talk a lot about it in terms of it being a sport, and we're modeling after sports, whether it be international sports or American sports, North American sports, football, baseball. The key difference that keeps me interested is it is more than just sports and just the act of competing. It's community engagement. You don't have to be the top League of Legends player to be involved. You have to have a passion for the mythos of League of Legends and the world of League of Legends, and you want to be able to broadcast or do artwork for it or cosplay. That's the strengths of esports programs, and what makes them so appealing to the campuses is it creates a community. And so I think, when we look at our challenges this year, none of us had students on our campus tabling, going to events, passing each other in the hallways, commenting, oh, that's a really cool Diva t-shirt you're wearing. Oh, cool, you play League of Legends? Oh, cool, you play Rock? Cool t-shirt. It's all online. And so I think, that's really, when we looked at what we did, our limitation was the fact that we didn't have, all we had was online engagement. One of our successes was we were able to maintain a small amount of online engagement. So I think that's kind of it's the best of times, worst of times kind of conversation. We made the most of it. And I think that's really, that's really kind of the story that the students kind of parsed out when we talked about this.
And I think what we all love so much about esports too is you get that community engagement, which we all have found in the last year we desperately crave, but you also get the career opportunities, which you don't necessarily get in the football team and the volleyball team. Very, very few are going to get career out of that. Maybe they'll be into coaching or something like that. Where esports, everyone can get a career in esports, in multimedia, in broadcasting, just in the media companies, especially in the Seattle area and the hotbeds of our various countries. There's so much career opportunities and networking that comes from the esports themselves. It really opens up an incredible avenue of career opportunities. And I just love that about it, knowing we're doing something that's really going to be a lifelong improvement in our students.
Agreed. And I think that's APRU's interest as well, to build these career pathways. So we're doing our best. And I think we like to work on our own strategic plan and helping to develop this idea further. So thank you. Is Carlos still here? I think he might have left us. Anyway, I just want to thank everyone for.
I'm still here.
Okay, I see you now. Carlos, did you have anything that you wanted to say to wrap up?
Thank you very much. Anything, any other question, any other requirement that you have for us, any other recommendation also to make this fellowship a greater networking relationship between universities? We're totally open to make it possible, to make it happen. And thank you for all your support.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to open up my door too. And Carlos, I'm sure you feel the same way. If anyone else has other questions as you're working through your capstone project, feel free to reach out to us. We're a resource for you, and also your advisors. I mean, they're here for to help serve you and your clubs. So please use your resources as you can. I just have a few housekeeping announcements to mention. First, we have a career workshop series coming up. So we have 3 workshops. The first one is like finding your careers in esports, and we'll be having a leader from KPMG and one of our original founding members at USC to talk about their experience in building their own careers in esports. And then we'll have a workshop on marketing and streaming and casting. So that will be one area. And then another area that we'll be working on is contracts. So how can you, as an esports athlete or somebody working in the industry, how do you best equip yourself to make sure that you are best prepared and advocate for yourself in the midst of, you know, global opportunities, and you know, protect yourself, but also make sure to know what you're signing on to. So those are 3 workshops that will be coming up in July, and we'll be sharing those opportunities with you very soon. And then the next APRU Fellowship Workshop will be hosted by Tec de Monterrey in September, so please keep an eye out for that. And we'll probably keep the same schedule of having it Friday morning in the Asia side and Thursday evening in the US and Canada and Mexico. And then one final thing is that we are going to be sending out a mid-year program survey just to get your input as advisors, as fellowship students, to help us to improve our program design, but improve this program overall. And we just want to really hear from you as we're going through this program, what steps we can take from now until the end of this year to improve this year's program. But also at the end of this year, we'll do another kind of round of getting your input so that we can build on the success of this year and make it a really good program for next year as well. So we're just wanting to look for your input, and we'll be sending that out very soon as well. So that's it from us. If no one else has anything else, we'll let you go for the day. So please enjoy. Have a good one, everyone.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Jackie.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carlos.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.